next guest fearlessly faced the cops in downtown New York City as they descended upon the Occupy Wall Street movement. Take a look at this. Oh, despite being clubbed by the cops, investigative reporter Michelle Fields joins us now with her story. Michelle, welcome here, though it's an uncomfortable subject we talk about. What happened to you down there?
Well, the protesters were marching, they were singing songs, holding up signs down the street for a couple hours. And then out of nowhere, a whole flood of police officers just came marching in with batons and started pushing and shoving everyone, hitting them. But the thing was is that the sidewalks were completely flooded, the street was flooded, and they wanted us to get on the sidewalk. But we couldn't move. So instead, they just kept hitting us and telling us to get on the sidewalk. And I mean, I had a car in front of me, I couldn't move. I had police officers on all sides of me hitting me. And
well,
yeah,
were they striking people indiscriminately, whether the people were innocent civilians, journalists, members of the press, or protesters?
Exactly. They were just hitting everyone that they saw around them. And this was completely out of nowhere. They allowed everyone to march for hours, and then they just come in and just hit people with batons, start pushing them, and they eventually push them back into the park.
All right, I know that you were injured, but did you have a chance to talk to the police? Why did you do this to me? I'm the eyes and ears of the American public here. I'm not one of these people that are disrupting life in Lower Manhattan. Did you get a chance to say that?
I said that to one of the police officers, that I was just a press member, that I was just covering the event, I was interviewing people, and they just had nothing to say.
All right. You had a very interesting week. This was the second moment this week in which you, as a reporter, became a newsmaker. The first moment this week is when you ran into a couple of the dumbest, stupidest billionaires I've ever seen in the hallways of Congress, and you interrogated them. We'll take a look at this.
So I'm here arguing in favor of higher taxes on the wealthy. I'm one of the wealthiest 1%.
Okay, well, now is your chance. I have the Department of Treasury right here, the donate page. Would you like to donate a few $1,000s? $10,000?
No, I wouldn't.
So you don't want to donate to the government?
I want our class to be, you've heard me, you're being silly.
Look, this is not charity. We're not doing charity here. Taxes are not charity. They're not voluntary. They're something that society commits to do together.
Would you guys be willing to donate to the Department of Treasury?
Individually?
Yes.
No. We believe...
Would you?
No, individually. I'm very philanthropically active.
All right, so these were basically very, very wealthy people who were lobbying the Congress, inexplicably, I think, to raise taxes on themselves and a lot of other people. And you basically said to them, Michelle, if you're so happy to pay more money, why don't you just pay it? Here's the form by which you can send in all the money you want, tax dollars or not. Did you find anybody who sort of stuck to their word?
No one said that they would be willing to give the money. They called themselves the Patriotic Millionaires, who want to pay their fair share. But when I gave them the opportunity, they didn't want to. I mean, when you really believe something and you believe something is right, I mean, you're willing to do it. You're willing to lead by example. These people did not want to give any of their money. They're hypocrites.
How did you come upon them? What were they doing there? Were they actually testifying before Congress, asking the Congress of the United States of America, in the worst recession in 40 years, to raise taxes?
Yeah, they were there to testify, and they also held a press conference and had interviews all day long. They met with Grover Norquist of Americans for Tax Reform to ask him to help raise taxes. And so they were just going around town saying this, but then when I asked them to put their money where their mouth is, they didn't want to.
All right. The tape that you brought us, which is compelling, shows a bunch of self-important crackpots. Did you find anybody there that was willing to sign that form that you had and send a check to the Treasury Department?
No, they weren't willing to do it voluntarily. They said that they wanted the government to force everyone to do this. So they weren't willing to do it themselves. They wanted everyone to be a part of this. When you really believe something, it doesn't matter if no one else is doing it. You still do it because you believe in that. It's
Michelle
crazy.
Fields, get some rest this weekend, and thanks very much. It's always a pleasure, Michelle. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. The president who bowed